Hello. Hello, everybody. This is Shypanther of Shypanther and Friends. And while we wait for our guests, I'll just talk to you a little bit. All righty. This is Shypanther and Friends, as I just said. And tonight is our special edition on Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. We normally do our shows on Thursday nights, but we decided to add a few more shows so that we can increase the viewership. So I hope you all cooperate with us. And when you get here on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. And you subscribe, you all know, so that whether we go live or whether it's recorded, that as soon as we hit the air, you'll get a notification. And all you have to do is join in. So, all righty. Now, I just want to say a little bit about, as on every show, since we've had to do the show through Zoom, and we normally do them at Q4 on the radio station, but during this time, we're doing it through Zoom, and I actually love it. I love doing YouTube Live. I never did it before. It's quite an experience, especially working with Zoom, as you have seen probably in my other shows. And just in case you have not experienced Shypanther and Friends, the wonderful show, I want to let you know that we are viewer supported and we ask for donations in any amount, and they're all tax deductible. And you can do that through paypal.me/Shypanther. Now, why should you donate to this show, right? Well, I'll tell you. Our goal is to provide quality programming that uplifts, educates, empowers, and inspires. And we do that by inviting people from all walks of life. And basically, we've had entrepreneurs, we've had attorneys on here, we've had journalists, we had credit repair people, professional people. And we've had people who are out here starting their businesses. We try to put a lot of attention and nourishment into that entrepreneur, because that's what this country was made of. People, the pioneer who decided that they wanted to take a chance and do something to develop the country in one way or the other. So, or to fulfill a need, a demand. So that's what the United States was built um, on that pioneer. So that's what we have been doing since last, I'd say, August of 2019. That's been the whole goal of the show. So if nothing else, then that is one good reason to support Shypanther and Friends. Now, we are going to be adding shows here and there, and hopefully we'll add different times. However, I am still employed in the daytime, so that kind of limits how much we can do as far as expansion. And the show is produced by Shypanther Media Group LLC. That's Shypanther Media Group LLC. And you can reach out to me through email at shypanthermedia@gmail.com. That's one word, Shypanther, SHYPANTHER, media@gmail.com. All righty. So as we wait on our guests to arrive, we're expecting Lakeisha Gray-Sewell, and she is the founder of Girls Like Me. So hopefully she'll be able to join us very soon. Okay, and before we go on, I do want to say that we have to keep each other in our thoughts and prayers because we are still in the middle of a pandemic. And I do want to commend everyone who's chipped in one way or another, whether it's through your time or donations or food donations, clothing, making masks, buying gloves, helping your neighbor, your friend, family. It matters that we all help each other because we definitely are all in this together. And I sincerely pray and hope and pray to God that we get past this sooner rather than later. All right, so just wait a little bit more. While we wait, I'll do a couple of things. So please hang out with me. Don't go anywhere. I'm happy that you could join me. And again, I want to ask you guys to please like and share and subscribe. I want to get the numbers up. Of course I do. We all do. All righty. And while we do that, I'll just maybe start a little bit music, a little wait music, right? So you know you can always chat with me too, chat with us anytime that we're live. And I can get a little bit of music going. I'm going to try. Let's see. Try not to blast us out. All right, all right. Maybe we'll do a little jazz, right? Something that YouTube will approve and not like ding me. Just checking my sound over here. All right. Still waiting on our guest. So I'm thinking maybe something happened, but it's just 10 after. So we will definitely have time to talk about the stuff we'd like to talk about. So while we wait, though, um, I can talk a little bit about um, who I am. Um, we are talk a little about who I am. I am Shypanther. I am the chief creative officer for Shypanther Media Group, and actually everything started a few years back, about 2017, and well, maybe even from the time that I was a kid. I love music. I love radio, and I spent unimaginable amount of time listening to music, and I was particularly drawn to big band, big band jazz. Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Louis Jordan, Louis Armstrong. I mean, you just name it. And I never really got into like modern jazz until a little bit later, and contemporary jazz. And I'm talking about Miles Davis, I'm talking about Bebop, Dizzy Gillespie, and oh my goodness, of course you all know this can really go on. Okay, hang on. Looks like we got our visitor, our guest. Hey, Lakeisha, I can't see you. Um,
It's I need better lighting, so 1 second, okay?
okay,
All right.
yeah, I can hear you just fine. Okay, guys, we're waiting till she can get her lighting up so we can see her. Okay. All right.
Oh, wow.
Nice that you could join me. I'm so happy that you made it.
Today has been very eventful, so I'm happy to be here and I'm thankful that you've invited me. Are we live or is this just our voices?
No, we're live. I was trying to see why I don't see you on YouTube because I definitely. Oh, here you are. I was like double checking on my other screen to make sure you're there, and you are. So, welcome to the show.
Thank
It looks like you're freezing up a little bit, but welcome to the show. And I got started a little bit early, just explaining about what the show is about,
you.
and basically, I was just saying that the whole goal of the show is it's in line a whole lot with your organization, and that's to provide quality programming that uplifts, educates, empowers, and inspires. And I know I checked out your program, and it looks outstanding. So I'm happy that you can come on. Hey, I think you did you can you unmute so that I can
Yes.
I
I don't want
okay, now you're good. Okay. Okay, so everybody, welcome Lakeisha Gray. Is it Sewell? Is Sewell?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Okay, because I did a little thing earlier and I was like, that's not how you pronounce her name. So I'm glad I got it correct. So welcome to the show and tell us a little bit about the program. Like, first of all, tell us what the program is about, and then I'm interested in media literacy.
Well, first of all, Gail, I really do want to thank you for your due diligence and for having a platform. A lot of what we do in the community, a lot of community organizations don't get an opportunity to share what we do on a large platform, as you know, because of the limitations of mainstream media. So, thank you for hosting this platform, and thank you for inviting me on with your listening audience. I'm really honored to be here tonight.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I founded Girls Like Me Project Incorporated in 2012. We actually just celebrated our 10th birthday, our 8th birthday on the 26th of April. And so what we are is an organization that primarily works with Black girls, specifically Black girls,
Okay.
with girls around media literacy and around self-efficacy. We want them to be able to influence policy, influence media relations and public perception, so and better better relationships with between themselves, amongst themselves. And we want to do that through storytelling and digital media. And so our programs range from workshops that we do, sister circles that we do, and then also large events that we do. One of the biggest events we have is our Day of the Girl. And I'm not sure if your audience is familiar, but October 11th of every year, the United Nations has labeled that to be International Day of the Girl.
Okay.
Through International Day of the Girl, what I've been observing was that girl, it was all about international, and that didn't include the South Side or the West Side of Chicago.
Right. Okay.
International or global girls, it always included girls in Nigeria, Sri Lanka,
Mhm.
and all these other places, but nowhere, nobody ever talked about the issues and the things that were going on with Black girls on the South and West Sides of Chicago or anywhere in America, really, urban America. So this was our opportunity to say to our girls that you are worthy to be a part and included in this conversation. Your issues mirror very much so those that are in other places, Pakistan and other places, the poverty that you face.
Exactly. Hmm.
education, the 54 schools being closed in one city, Chicago, closing 54 schools, leaving our girls with a substandard education. The sex trafficking that they face, and then the supremacy, the white supremacy, and the systematic injustice. And so we knew that they needed to be a part of this, and we knew that they needed to include and feel inclusive of other girls. And so in 2012, we started that event, and we've celebrated for 8 years now. It's huge, and we're always looking to expand it and partner with other organizations.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. I love that that you took on such a huge project, because it's huge, but it really isn't, because it's what we live. It's our lives. So, and it's our lives, it's our community. So, and who better to speak on it and to bring particular focus to it than us. So I truly believe in telling your own story from your point of view. So as far as media literacy, explain a little bit about more about that. Are you talking about how we are perceived, or what's actually written about us, or?
So it's all of those things. So media literacy is just the same way people talk about financial literacy.
Okay.
Media literacy is understanding, first of all, what media is, its function, who controls it, and what its use is for. So that's the first thing. We have to make sure that girls understand, well, everybody understands that. And then we have to make sure that they understand the facets of it, propaganda, advertising, whether it is creative storytelling, whether it's documentary, whatever it is, they need to understand the different functions and the different uses of it, right?
Yeah.
And then outside of that, then they need to know, well, who is this story being written for? Who is it being told by? And then who profits from it?
Okay.
And they need to know that, because they'll find a lot of times the things that perpetuate violence, the things that perpetuate this, bad girl behavior, the things that perpetuate this bad attitude, but bold and bougie, hot girl, whatever it is, they'll understand, oh, this is tied to a profit that doesn't include me. It doesn't benefit me. It's benefiting a larger machine. And that machine benefits when I or someone who looks like me is exploited. And then they also understand, oh, I can also tell my own story, and I can take that power away from that entity and create my own story. And here are the tools that I can use to do that. And so that's what media literacy is, and that's what we train them in.
Okay. That's pretty awesome. So how so when did you decide to move on your idea? Like, was it your individual idea, or did you do it with a group of individuals, or?
Yeah, so funny. So my idea, it's crazy how it started. It wasn't it happened so organically. So I have a son and a daughter. My son is the oldest, and he's 21 now, Morehouse student. But when he was 9 years old, 1 second, please. I have background noise.
It's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry. So when he was 9 years old and in fourth grade, I was a parent volunteer, very involved in his school, and I was there quite a lot. And I noticed a lot of the girls were practicing this bad girl kind of behavior towards. There was a lot of bullying, a lot of aggressiveness, and even outwardly aggressive behavior towards boys. Sexual, not as in sex, but kissing, grabbing, just things that you would not expect at 9, right?
Okay.
And so it became a burden on the teacher and the classroom in general. And so myself and another parent, we got together and we started doing these lady lunches, where we would have lunch on once a week with the girls, and we would read this book. The Skin I'm In is the name of the book, with Sharon G. Flake. And that book was so powerful. It was the first tool that we used to help them to see themselves and to see even the negative, right? To reflect back the negative things that they were doing, but also the positive things. And that ladies' lunch really completely a 180-degree turn around. It completely turned them around. Some people say 360, but that's incorrect because you going in circles if you 360. So it turned them the opposite way, 180-degree turn, and they started being responsible for one another. They started being positively responsive to one another, and just built this sisterhood. And then also girls who were shy and weren't talking at first, they just like came out of a caterpillar and butterfly effect. It was so powerful to see. And those girls stayed with us from 4th grade all the way through 8th grade. We started doing it more than just once a week. We started coming in after school. And from there, I decided my job at the time was relocating.
Okay.
I was working remotely a lot, and I would find myself hurrying up to finish my work so I can get to the school.
Mm-hmm.
Or days that I would just be calling off to go and do this. So I realized that this is what I would be doing if I get paid to do it. Whatever, this is what I was supposed to be doing. And so I knew though that it needed a structure to it. It needed to be more than just volunteer time. And so that's how it became an actual foundation.
That's pretty cool. And again, it started from a passion.
It started.
And you saw, yeah, and you saw a need. And it's incredible that what you did, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it made a great impact. It changed behavior right then and there that you could see, you know.
Yeah. That's the thing now too, when I look back, I take a lot of it for granted because it just comes so easily to me, the programming ideas. But then when I hear somebody else saying, well, I was in a meeting, a funding meeting, actually trying to give funds, and I had brought a parent with me. So, they were on the other side asking me questions, the funders were. And I, of course, answered everything. And then the parent said, Lakeisha's being modest, and this is what it does. This is what an organization does. This is the effect it had on my daughter. And to hear her say it, it really made me take it in that, yes, and this is not just for myself, but for anybody who's doing something that we, it comes naturally to us, but it's life-changing. And I think that it's God's work. I'm a believer in.
Yeah.
So it's God's work, and when you can see it and not take it as I'm doing this, but wow, look at what God is doing, and I'm just so humble and grateful that He saw fit to use me.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm a believer in God too, and I feel like that too. A lot of times about this show, that it truly is serving its purpose. So um, I wanted to say something about when you mentioned like some of the kids were shy and just different ways that they express themselves. I remember uh, being one of those shy kids, and a lot of times that you never know what their potential could be, but they get overlooked, or the kid that's deemed bad, they definitely won't be included in anything. So you just never know how just taking it upon yourself to do something rather than always complain or always talk about things and never do anything. And it only takes a regular person like you and me to decide just to try something and see where it will go. So how did the school, how did they receive you and what you did?
Oh
And
boy,
what
that's cool. So my children, my children did not attend. We're in Chicago. They didn't attend Chicago public schools. They attended University of Chicago charter school, and
Okay.
that school was so welcoming, so accommodating. It was always a partnership. So it was never, whatever you wanted to do in partnership to make sure that the children were served, it was
Mhm.
open door policy. I couldn't have had a better launching pad to do it. And
Right.
then to the second campus, the middle school campus, once again, it was just open door. If you have a program or something that's going to benefit the kids, and
Mhm.
obviously you're vetted, but if it's beneficial to the children, then come on in. Please help us find ways to
Yeah.
do things for young people. And then I served on a parent teacher. I was a president of the parent teacher organization as well. So I had great relationships.
Great. And I'm sure they were happy to have parent involvement because the schools are big on that, trying to get the parents to become more involved. Yes.
And most parents want that too, right? So um, parents that aren't typically involved, there are parents who really want that community of parents to say we have power, right? Because a lot of people feel powerless. They feel like whatever the principal, director, or teacher say is what goes. They don't understand that it's a collective
Exactly.
responsibility for children, and that it takes everybody's. So I was a big person on recruiting parents.
Good.
Empowering parents like, hey, did you know that this is your right to do this XYZ? So yeah, I'm huge on that. You
Good.
cannot put your education, your child's education, in anybody else's hands. It has to be, you are the captain of your child's education, and you can get other people to drive, you can get other people to fill up the gas tank, you can get other people to do, wash the windows, you can get other people to do whatever, but you are the driver of that, of your child's education.
Okay. So now you mentioned a component for women. What do you offer? How do you approach women in the particular needs that women may have?
So that's twofold. So so the Girls Like Me project is specifically for girls. However, we have a program that we did called Raising Black Girl Magic, because Gail, this is the facts. You cannot raise. We do all this talking about Black Girls Rock and Black Girl Magic, but we cannot have Black Girl Magic or Black Girls Rock if Black mothers are hurting, are not healed, are still in their childhood pain or their second childhood. They haven't addressed those childhood traumas or hurts, then they're going to rehash the same cycle with their daughters. And so we created a program that's called Raising Black Girl Magic. And it's about giving mothers the tools that they can better support their daughters. And that can go from so many things. That can go from just recognizing the type of child, the temperament that your child has. If your child is not someone who's going to respond well to being yelled at, or maybe your child needs a different kind of reinforcement, you should be able to flow with that. And every child is not the same. So if you got 6 daughters, you can respond to each daughter. Or maybe your child has a gift and a talent, you can recognize it and put that child in something early on. My daughter has been dancing since forever. And I knew early on that that was a special gift. It wasn't just something that she, did. It's a gifted. And so I made sure to find opportunities for her to do that. My daughter challenges me because she's very strong willed and very uh, she just spontaneous, and me, I'm practical and I want order, and so I had to really work with myself so that I wouldn't be triggered by her, and that it wouldn't be this clash that
Mhm.
wind up with her resenting me, right? And so
Right.
a lot of times we just need that help, and even me need help with that, because it's not a natural thing, right? It's not a natural thing to get along with anybody. You have to learn each other's, personalities. And so we offer things like that. On the
Right.
other side of that is my own work that I do as an author and as a motivational speaker, as well as a certified life coach. And so with that, I just help women again get over the blocks that are blocking their shine in life, whether they have not they've been bogged down by stereotype and stigmas, feeling
Mhm.
they didn't grow up in the right zip code or the right pedigree or the right degree. It could keep them from trying to experience different careers or just to find the things that make you shine in life. It can be blocked. And so I just work with women to help them find those things.
Wow. Okay. So do you have like workshops for them, or how do you work with the women?
So I do, sometimes I do workshops, do vision board workshops, do other kind of workshops. I do one-on-one coaching. And now in the upcoming weeks, I'm about to help women who've always wanted to use their voice and have a platform. I'll be helping them to produce their podcast and get their stories out on digital platforms, much like what you're doing, because it's powerful, right? You can find your power, and people may think that it's inundated and it's too full of people. Everybody has podcasts. Well, yes, and everybody has a voice, so everyone should have one or some platform to get your message out. And there aren't enough, I think, because there's so many women who are the unsung heroes. And when you have a show or I have a show, then there's not enough of us to lift up everybody's voice, right? As guests or whatever. So I think I think we should definitely use that. And when you use your voice too, it gives you a different confidence in this world.
Yeah, definitely.
Different.
Yeah, definitely. And I, even though, yeah, there are a bunch of podcasts, and even I was thinking the same thing, but I can almost guarantee you everybody's is different in their own way, because it's just how they do their thing in their own way. Because each person that I've brought on the show, I've learned so much from each and every guest that I've had. And I can take something from each person who's come here, and I can share a quote or an idea that I've gotten from you. So definitely it's important to um, to use your voice. And because when I started out, I thought, oh, I want to do music. I just want to play jazz, because I love it so much. Um, but I thought, okay, Gail, come on now. You have something to say. Use your platform to bring on other people and help. Just everybody gets a chance to do something to pull everybody forward. So, and I decided to try this.
Well,
Sometimes I go ahead.
I'm saying I'm glad you did. I'm glad then this gives me opportunity. I'm glad to join you here. So I'm glad.
Yeah, so I think truly is very important. And I didn't always, of course, recognize how um important it is just for you to say something when you have something to say. Most of the time growing up in school, I was the one who had plenty to say and never raised my hand until like a fire was lit under me where I just had to say something. And I felt that that wasn't the way I wanted to express myself in anger or, hastily. I wanted to take the time and always say what was on my mind, and so that I could be better prepared to express myself.
And
So
that's something too that parents and other adults and teachers and educators need to understand. I've always been very vocal, more outspoken than most people around me. And um so that can be seen as a bad thing too, right? Overly aggressive, and people will try to silence you or shut you down. But at the same time, we have to recognize when someone is not speaking. That doesn't mean, like you said, that they don't have anything to say or they don't have a thought. In fact, because I thought that for a long time, like, wow, quiet people are suspect. Like, what's going on, right? But like, you have to create a safe space where people feel safe enough to speak out. And a lot of our girls don't feel safe enough. They feel like they'll be ridiculed or made fun of. They don't feel confident as if they're smart enough to say something, or they just don't feel like, sometimes I didn't realize that I would be getting on people's nerves. People like, you just too much. Like, I didn't even realize it. And that just may be why they're being quiet. It's not that they don't have anything to say. And so seeing that, and you will be surprised that the actresses and the people who are, entertainers, my own coach, Monique Caradine Kitchens, who is a media giant, all of these people like yourself were shy,
Oh
right?
my gosh. Yeah.
But they are now commanding stages, and so you have to know that, that voice has always been there. Nobody can give anybody a voice, right? You can only pass someone a microphone, or amplify that voice, but you don't give people voice. So yourself and others like you have always had a voice, and I just want girls who are at that age where they're finding their voice. I don't want them to feel intimidated or in a space that they're not supported to share their voice or share their thoughts. We need to create more spaces that allow for those who aren't always talking the space to talk. And it may not be talking, right? It may be playing an instrument, it may be dancing, it may be art, it may be something else, but they still have to have that outlet.
Right, you're very correct about that. They could be very expressive writing. You know, a lot of people are that way, and you be surprised. Um, what was I going to ask? You have you wrote you published a book lately, like a couple of years ago.
2018, July 2018, I did. I published my first book. And the funny thing about that, Gail, is that so I've been a writer forever. My degree is in communications, radio and television communications, and my minor is English creative writing.
Okay.
Always thought that I would write this novel, right? And while I was in undergrad, one of my professors said to me, older white man said, don't ever, your story is not important. Nobody wants to read about you. People want to read about famous people. They don't want to read about your.
Hmm.
And so I've been holding that in. I'd internalized that for so long. And if you said you like jazz, so you're creative. Our
Yeah.
creativity doesn't always come through. Sometimes we have writer's block. Sometimes you just can't get that rhythm. It's just some. And so what kept coming to me though was to tell my story, but I would always shut it down. Like, no, nobody wants to hear that, right? And
Hmm.
my creative work has still not come forth. It's come forth in bits and pieces, but not enough to publish a book. But I knew that this other thing was in me. And so the book I wrote is part memoir, it's part women's history, it's part self-help,
Okay.
inspiration, but a huge part of it is memoirs. A huge part of it is my experiences, and I'll tell you that it's in the third print. It's in the third. We've done 3 runs of it, and it is exceptional in terms of not me, but to have someone give you an example of the things that they've overcome helps
Right.
other people so much. And your story, and I'm talking to anybody out there, your
Mhm.
story is a story that is somebody's lifeline. And as long as you're holding in your story, somebody else is dying. They're thirsting for it. And they're
Wow.
not living fully because you have not dared to tell your story. And so somebody else is suffering.
Wow. Now that is a powerful thought. It's a powerful truth, really. Yeah. Um, and I have found that even with um, something as controversial as Facebook, you can share almost anything, and you will find so many other people dealing with the same issue. And they're, in a lot of cases, they're very supportive in trying to share solutions or ideas on how to deal with it. So, yeah, I think that's extremely important.
And it takes you to step out of ego and not worry about what somebody else is going to think. Somebody else will say, oh, who she thinks she is, or because that was me. That was my story for my life. Was I didn't want people to say, who does she think she is? She thinks she's all that. Like, I wanted to minimize that as much as possible, because that's something that I've heard for so long. It hurts, and you don't
Yeah.
in that way. But I had to say, this is not about me. This has nothing to do with me. And I had to own it, own that I was given this gift for writing, or given this gift to speak, or whatever it is, that somebody else, that's not their gift. Their gift may be, mixing up numbers. Don't give me a math problem, because I couldn't solve it, and don't give me some sewing kit. I can't do, I can't, I'm not technology wise, I can't code a computer. That's not my gift. And so I know what my gift is, and I know how to walk in it without feeling as if I have to downplay myself or downplay what it is, because at the end of the day, it's about liberating the next person, or liberating us all.
Right. So, um, yeah, I mean, I can identify so much with what you just said about thinking that, I don't want to seem boasting like, but then I read so many things that said you're not being boastful when you're just showing confidence. You have to, be confident and you just have to own what you have. And it is a gift.
Listen, this is in my book too. There is not a bird in the sky who doesn't chirp because the next bird is chirping. He's not going
That's
to not chirp. And when you walk past a flower garden, God planted have all those flowers in the garden. No flower is saying, "Let me not be bold and aromatic today. Let me not have a fragrance about myself. Let me dull my color so the next flower won't feel intimidated." That flower bursts through, and as much as it can, it reaches for the sunlight. It does whatever it can to give off fragrance, to be, so a bee can pollinate it or whatever. It does its full purpose. It does not shy or shrink. And we've got to stop shying and shrinking too. And whoever is intimidated by that, that's their work for them to do. It's not our work to do.
right. Wow, that's perfect. I love that. That is very perfect and very true. So, yeah, God to us is our purpose here is to do what He to perform the purpose He put us here for. So, all right, I'll do my best to remember that. I love that.
I have to remind myself. I think we all can forget something from time to time. We all can kind of falter in that, and we all human, so we have human experiences where we kind of forget whose we are. And so the more we can remember, I'm trying to make sure I can get better lighting. I don't know.
Yeah, the more we can remember that we were wonderfully made, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so what do you have coming up for the program? I know we're in this pandemic and we're all kind of at a standstill. And we're doing whatever we can virtually. So what do you have some, well, I guess it will depend on when we're off of this quarantine, but some of the things that you may have coming up for girls like me.
Well, I would say unfortunate, but it's not unfortunate. Fortunately, we have been able to support our girls through COVID. We have a response for them, and that is that we've taken our programming online. So every Thursday and Saturday we have the Glimpy Power Hour, um, where we offer programming that's social emotional support for them. We have different facilitators come on to talk about everything from writing to dance to growing their own. Last Saturday, we did a workshop on growing sprouts in their kitchen out of a mason jar. So they're learning how to eat properly for themselves, especially in COVID, and boost their immune system. They're having
Yeah.
sisterhood circle. So we're still doing that, and that's free and open. And as the months go on, we'll be doing that every day. We'll offer programming. We've got a survey out now that we're trying to collect data so that we'll know what the needs are. If there is need for hygiene products, we're going to be doing a hygiene products, um, some food, some devices, because a lot of our girls don't have devices to work on from home. We've taken it for granted that everybody can do this virtual online thing.
Right. That's true. Hmm.
So we're getting devices for our girls. So that's the program that we have. It has interrupted us because our very first board retreat was scheduled to go away and build and do our strategy planning. But we've had to interrupt that and kind of redesign how that will look. Our big fundraiser gala that we were going to have, we've had to pull that off the table and completely, we're going to have to completely redo that and understand how we can do that. But I'm just proud that we've been able to still provide some supports for our girls and their families.
Okay, so excuse me. So the people you work with, the women and girls, do they have to live in the area, or what's the kind of the rules for being able
No,
to participate?
so we that's the one thing that I'm grateful about in this time, because there are some organizations who are school based, and because they're school based, they can't have access to girls for a myriad of reasons. We are community based, so we are city based. If wherever girls are, this program is open to them.
Okay,
And especially now with COVID, you could be all the way in California and have class with us. The distribution obviously won't. We'll have to tailor that, but it's not about. It's just about who can get to us to get the food or the things that we distribute, the care packages that we distribute. But no, we're open to all girls.
okay. So how can people wanted to? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Always have to unapologetically say that our program is for Black girls. It's open to everybody, but it is specifically designed to be culturally responsive to Black girls.
Okay. All right. Now, for people who want to donate or whatever, are people able to come volunteer to help out with the program at all? Like, professionals?
Yes, so we are in need now of facilitators for our Thursdays and Saturday programming. At this point, it's volunteer. We are working to get small stipends for people who facilitate workshops. Um, we also are in need of volunteers. We'll be in need of volunteers in the upcoming weeks when we actually get the care packages. We'll need people to come and help us assemble the packages and distribute them. Obviously, so it's lots of ways to we need volunteers. Absolutely.
Okay. And for donations, monetary or what type of donations do you accept?
But we accept everything. We accept, we can go online. We do go. So our website, girlslikemeproject.org, there's a donate button, a support button on every page. I think every time you scroll, you'll see it.
Okay.
So we accept that. And then we also accept payments to be mailed to our address as well.
Okay. So everyone should go to girlslikemeproject.org,
Yes.
the website, and they'll get all the information that they need to donate their time or whatever it is that they have. And for people girls and women who want to participate in any of the programs, you'll find everything that you need and what's offered on the website as well.
Yes, they can go on. It'll ask. They can sign up, and then they'll be signed up for our newsletter, and we'll get a message to say whatever their question is. We'll get that message. But if people just want to go directly, sometimes people don't want to take the extra steps. You can just email info at girlslikemeproject.org. info@girlslikemeproject.org, and you can send it and we'll get that immediately and we'll respond.
Okay. Well, what can we do as parents of girls? Say I say we halfway or 75% have ourselves together where we're trying to assist our girls or just girls in the community to, as you said, have a better self-image and just create a more um, nourishing environment and create those situations and that help support the whole girl.
Well, first of all, nobody is ever going to be 100%, right, Gail? When
Oh, that's why I said 75%.
we're all the way together, somebody be looking down on us and we'll be looking up it's time to go when you've learned all the lessons there are to learn. You won't be here anymore. So we're all growing, we're all learning and growing. However, wherever you are, you can be a benefit to girls by simply being the example. Be what you are asking them to be. Let them see what you want them to be. So you can't be a parent or an adult that says one thing, do this, or don't do that, and then you're doing what you're telling them not to do, or you're not doing what you're asking them to do. So one is be an example.
Okay.
Two is to get in touch with yourself, get in touch with your growth, and admit to yourself that I'm not 100%, that these are some areas that I need to work on, and continue to do that work. I think that's the best thing we can do for our daughters, because our daughters can see us working, and then they're smart, they're intuitive, they can say, I know my mom is trying, and I know she's trying for me, right? And then the third thing, Gail, is
Yes.
be love and be grace. So much of what we do is in judging our girls, is in shaming them, making them feel as if they're not good enough, this respectability thing. I find that everybody has a value. Even Cardi B, who people love to pose as this the worst person, or whoever it is. There's a group of young people, and they're not kids either. They're young adults who just had the horrible party over the weekend
Yeah.
and defied the stay-at-home order. That was the stupid thing that they did. It was absolutely dangerous.
Right.
However, there's a way to correct them. There's a way to hold them accountable without condemning them or convicting them, or speaking so much in contempt that, like, we don't love our young people. We've got to find ways to correct and love. That's not saying, slap somebody on the wrist or just turn your head or excuse bad behavior, but it's a way to correct. My mother was a mother who, I think I got the worst of it. My sisters probably never got a whooping, right? I think I probably got one a week. But my mother loved us. She told us she loved us. She showed us. She didn't
That's
she didn't use corporal punishment as her go-to. She wasn't a person who was very uh she didn't punitive with us, you know what I mean? And I think that's what we need to know. We can move away from being punitive and punishing and move into grace and love. And I think we get more correction when we do that. You get a lot more resistance, you get a lot more back talk, you get a lot more attitude when you're coming with that energy as well. So
yeah.
those are the three. Be the example of what you want our girls to see. Do your own work on yourself, and your own self-healing, self-love, self-care, and then be love for our girls.
Right. Hang on. Hang on. Problem. Oh my gosh. Hang on. Ah,
That's better than
it
my
knocked me.
light. Your phone is a
Are you?
better problem to have than my light issue.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It knocked me off. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so wonderful at the end of my show. Thank you so much. Okay,
It says you
I'm trying to get it. Oh wait, hang on. I'm trying to come back. Jeez. Mm-mm-mm.
I can see you.
I, I'm knocked off. I gotta figure out how to push it. Push it back. Where am I? Come back.
I don't know
Ooh.
what you're seeing, but it still says live on YouTube on my end, and I can still see you.
Okay, let me see. Here we go. Oh, it was easy. I just had to press one button.
You had the whole time.
Okay. Alrighty. So this was such a great interview. I'm so happy that we that you honestly I think the pandemic created the time for you to be here, because otherwise everybody was super busy before this, and it was so difficult to get people just to nail down a date and a time.
Yeah,
So
and I tell you, this is I'm a person who really does believe that all things are in divine order. I really truly believe that. And so I just came back from Ghana. I was very sick in November. um, really extremely sick.
Okay.
They couldn't pin down what it was, whether it's a bad flu. They said it wasn't the flu or whatever. Never knew what it was, but I was very sick in November. I left the country to go to Ghana at the end of December and stayed for 2 weeks and came back and was ready to go again. And I had been asking God to just stop the world from me. I didn't want to leave the world, but I just wanted the world to just slow down and stop. So
Mhm.
for me, this is a prayer answered. Is we just doing too much. It's too much. We
Mhm.
just constantly, and it's not to the appeasement of ourselves. It's not really, it's not so satisfying the way we just going. So I'm
Right.
personally, I'm grateful for this slowdown.
Yeah. I have to say I am too. Um, there were people where I worked, some people tested positive. So I happened to get exposed to some folks. I haven't gotten sick, but I had to be quarantined for the 2 week time. So I did so much work, and I'm always like whining and crying that I don't get to work on the show. I don't get to do this and that because there's just not enough time. So this afforded me tons of time and helped me to be able to think about, you know, plans for what I want to where I want to take the show. So and I saw all of the families being able to spend time together and just as you said, just slow down to like a halt
That's
because we were doing too much. We're always like on the weekends. If you look at the events schedule on Facebook, there were tons and many of them were on the same day. So yeah, so
trying to get to you stressing trying to get to 2 and 3 events and feeling so bad because you couldn't get to everybody's event. Yeah, I'm so over that. I can I can I, the, I was late to our interview, and I forgive me because I'm getting caught up in cooking again. My children were away at college, so my husband and I do a lot of eating out, and I'm really enjoying cooking meals for them every day, So that's what I was caught up doing. I said, "Oh God, look at the time." But little things like that we take for granted, this is the time that we're getting it back. So I'm grateful.
right. I think it's Yeah, I think it's cool. And I was talking with another guest who was saying that we realize that everything doesn't have to be so perfect and so polished
Right.
because here, especially, uh, going live from your home is gonna be this is real and this is fine. It's good. So yeah,
Because it doesn't even, and what we're finding out is the things that really matter have nothing to do with the external. The things that
exactly.
really matter at the end of the day, facing COVID, facing uncertainty, what really matters is what's pure, what's from the heart. And however you can dress it up, if it's not authentic, it's going to come through.
Very, very true. Yeah. Okay, well, I think we're going to go ahead and close out for this evening. Thank you, everyone, who tuned in to Shy Panther and Friends, and we'll be back tomorrow night at 7. We'll be talking with Jamil Warren. He is the CEO of Vital Care Insurance Company, and he'll be here at 7 o'clock, and we'll be talking everything insurance. So all right. And as always, you guys, I ask that you take care of yourselves and your neighbors, and God bless. And thank you so much, Lakeisha.
Thank you. It's been an honor and a pleasure. And I'll definitely send more people. I want to know how we can tune in. I'll follow the YouTube channel, and I'll send more guests your way too. There's some powerful people in the world that I think could benefit from being on, and you can benefit from
Oh,
knowing.
absolutely. Yeah. And I'll definitely go over to Girls Like Me, and I'll definitely go over there and follow and do whatever I can.
Thank
So
you so much, Gail.
thank you. So nice to meet you.
You as well. Bye bye.
Bye bye.